So anyway, when I was cut off because phone number of gigabytes or whatever. Okay, so the so they real estate agent had knowingly let out a property, okay, that they might not have had the legal authority to let because of the intestate or contested will status of a dead landlord they knew to be dead. Okay? But the consequence is there was no repercussions for the real estate agent and New South Wales trustee and guardian, or to whoever wound up getting executorship of the deceased landlord's will in 2010, because New South Wales Tenancy Tribunal does not deal with contract law or probate and executorship. So when that stuff's contested, you have to go to commercial tribunal or Supreme Court or something like that. But because it was a tenancy matter, it was covered by the Tenancy Tribunal. So the left hand wasn't allowing the right hand to communicate. Okay, and the upshot is that despite all of that, because that was the last this physical body at the time was working at a trade union. Okay, and so had notified their workmates that something was going on, and they could not engage in representations because it wasn't industrial law. So there was a slight advantage in terms of having had some experience telling workers what industrial awards said and whatever else. So there was some capacity to partially translate the words and acts because of the experience dealing with the industrial awards. But it wasn't the same thing. It certainly didn't qualify as a being properly represented. And in any event, the workplace had some members, that the trade union had some people who were ALP members. So just a backstory on that, trade unions don't always have members of political parties working there as reps or whatever. They're a diverse bunch. You'll never find a fascist amongst them, and you certainly won't find a member of the Liberal Party, though. Not that they're the same thing. But they're not guaranteed to be ALP or commies or whatever. They're a diverse bunch. And the ones who were ALP, or Australian Labor Party, got on the telephone by the looks of it. And while the tribunal case was going on, they were telling members of the New South Wales State Parliament that was absolute crap. And, of course, everyone's hands were fucking tied. And it took several years for it to come about, but by the end of 2010, there was an amendment to the New South Wales Tenancy Act, which said that tenants ought to be notified about whether or not their landlord even existed. In other words, in that case, alive. And it's absolutely mind-boggling, isn't it, that there was ever a situation where a tenant, where you're talking about a so-called contracting situation like a lease, where there was ever a situation where it was possible for one of the parties to, let's face it, not exist in the proper sense of the term. A dead person can't make contracts. Okay? They can't, okay? They have no responsibilities. You can't expect them to make contracts or have responsibilities because that's fucking unreasonable. Okay, so the unreasonableness of that was noticed by sane people who did their best apparently, and thankfully we now have that legislative change. But it's unbelievable, isn't it, that there was ever a situation where one party to a contract did not have the right to know whether or not the other party to the contract even existed. How about you fucking listen to that again? Before 2010, in New South Wales tenancy law, one party to the contract didn't have the right to know if the other party even existed. Okay? Now, as far as like estates are concerned and fucking paperwork existence is concerned, you might say that's a different fucking matter. But honestly, most people would say existence has been alive. So just go with that for a minute. Okay? Okay? Just quietly, how are Malaysian foreign exchange students working in the cleaning industry and being forced to work 20 hours a week on the 457 visa scam as it was in 2010, okay, and then having the sham contract to do the rest of the hours of the fucking week? You know, the same people that used to call up that trade union? How are they responsible for tenants in New South Wales not even having the right at that point in time to know if their landlord existed or not? Okay, we're literally in a situation where it's classified as a recent fucking thing that a dead person, such as that gay person, even had the right to decide who could determine his executive estate. Don't forget, one of the parts of that story starts is a gay person being denied the right to decide who was the executor of the estate on the basis that they weren't acknowledging gay fucking marriage. Well, gay marriage in Australia is a fucking recent thing, so you conservatives can fucking shove it. Without gay marriage, other people, tenants, didn't have rights because they were contesting that fucking will. And they were allowed to do it because he was gay, as far as we can tell. Saying that tenants should have less rights than people that own properties, okay, or allegedly own properties, okay, that type of snobbery, okay, meant that from the 1800s, when the New South Wales Supreme Court, when it listened to London, right through to all the changes in the 60s and now into 2010, you mean to say since Sydney Penal Colony, 1788, right through to 2010, there was absolutely no point whatsoever where a tenant in New South Wales even had the right to even know if their landlord was dead or alive. If you don't even have the right to know who the parties to a contract are and whether or not they exist, then you do not have proper consumer protections. You do not have proper tenancy protections. You do not have basic fucking human rights as respect at all. If we're talking about a situation like that, okay, apparently that was some kind of test case. Okay, they hadn't heard of that before. But that doesn't mean it wasn't the first time it fucking happened. Okay? It may not have been the first time it happened. It may have been the first time that someone said, fuck that, and did something about it. And just so happened to be talking to people who had friends in the ALP, so they passed a new law. So if you look at it like that, okay, even under the imperial system, the by proxy system, okay, of that, with all its great protections and stuff like that, okay, it took that fucking long for that basic principle of contracting to even apply. Both parties of the contract have to exist. How ridiculous is that? It took 230 years for tenants in New South Wales to have the right for both parties to exist to form the contract. That's ludicrous. That's fucking ludicrous. Okay? Now, if you look at that, okay, that basic fucking fundamental disrespect going on there, how can you then turn around and say that the rest of the system, which was based on the crucible of that fucking level of disrespect, okay, could possibly blame migrants for that? Do you think that system is geared to rip people off? For quick money for real estate agents? Banks fucking playing with interest rates because the stock exchange is fucked up? Because the mining industry and the natural resource industry is being bombarded by these foreign corporations? Do you think Canberra has something to answer for? That they're fucking selling our land up for fracking and coal seam gas and whatever else from underneath everyone? They don't respect you because 20 centimetres under the ground, apparently that's the King's crap, and Canberra gets to decide. But Canberra doesn't acknowledge the King because the Australia fucking Act. And no one in Australia even believes they're part of a monarchy. Why? We're not fucking England, so why would we? Okay? There's something fundamentally wrong with that. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. Now, on the subject of who your real landlord is. Okay, was the person in question's real landlord the dead gay guy whose rights to have his will respected, not respected, which led to a breach of rights for other people? The problem. That man was not the problem. Was the system behind that the problem? Yes, the system behind that was the problem. See, that individual that passed away, that subject, that case, did nothing wrong. Okay, all he did was die of old age. He wasn't a corporation or mega corporation buying properties out everywhere and then selling them up en masse and then ripping everyone off, which is exactly what's been contributing to the housing crisis in Australia as well. You get one migrant family buy one fucking 4-bedroom fucking house, the amount of inflation that contributes to you is negligible compared to the corporate en masse fucking situation. Okay, what they do for the FIFOs, what they do for the fucking uni lodges and whatever the fuck else. Okay, what they're fucking doing, buying up and inflating, buying up and inflating, buying up and inflating, buying up and inflating, okay, whatever. Move the fucking market around. You can't work there no more. You have to go here. You have to fucking sell up. Okay? You're supposed to only have 4 rental increases in a year, and it's supposed to be proportional or something like that. But you can rest assured that the price for a shit fucking room in the middle of fucking whoop whoop, okay, which is even though the shit room is bigger than a Sydney apartment at that time and place, okay, and it's still cheaper than that fucking price, but not by much. And when you're in that situation where you're at the point where Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, all the major capital cities are flooding to the regional centres, doesn't matter which regional centre it is, and they do FIFO and the prices go up for the greenscape and then they move on. Oh, they take advantage of that during festival time or whatever it is, whatever country town you're talking about. We got Gina Righthart tried to buy out a proper station in Dubbo to get a fucking greasy paws there. You know, she's just fucking throwing her weight around, which is ample. No offence to large people, but she's not known for largesse. She's known for fucking throwing that weight around. And she's not cuddly like the chubby people usually are. She's just a pig. Anyway, Gina Reinhardt, you're a pig. Anyway, alright, okay, right, okay. So, it's sexism. Twiggy Forrest, you're a pig. You're bringing shame to the other black fellas. You fucking fake black fella. Fucking 162er. Go on, let's use the American language. He's a 162er. He's a fake Cherokee, but Australian style. Go on. Who else? Oh, Clive Palmer. He's United Australia Party is, okay? Okay? He's basically Australia's Donald Trump. That's why he got laughed at. Oh, who else? Don't worry about them. You've got Santos and Pirelli and fucking Christ knows what else. James Price, Point, fucking you name it. Okay? It's like there's a fucking fuck ton of them. You know, there's a shit ton of them. You've got more mining companies in Australia. You've got more fucking, then you've got freaking people, office jobs. And everyone's a fucking FIFO. Like, they're all fucking FIFOs. Everywhere you fucking go, just FIFO this and FIFO fucking that. Your people in Sydney and Melbourne and wherever else are fucking living in cars.